Hello everybody, my name's Greg and I have owned my Tesla Y for just over a week now. Actually just a week and about 3 hours because I took delivery of it last Monday, Labor Day, at around 1 o'clock. By the time I went over the car, it was roughly around 3 o'clock. I was pretty thorough, and poor girl that was helping me out with little issues and some of the detailing issues they kind of neglected to take care of. I kind of put her through the ringer a little bit, but she definitely obliged most of my concerns without much question at all. I kind of want to talk about the ordering experience, the anxiety of pickup, going through the car during delivery, and then kind of my thoughts on a week of ownership with the vehicle. So I guess the first thing I'm going to talk about is the ordering process. As most people know, the process was fairly simple, straightforward. Even the finance was pretty straightforward. The nice thing about ordering the Tesla online was I didn't have to deal with any dealerships. I didn't have to deal with someone in my ear or trying to figure out what upsell options I wanted, or just anything that kind of distracts you from the process. It took me probably a couple of days to actually go through and click the buy button or commit button once I had my Model Y configured. And I configured the long range version because range and the amount I drive for work really mattered to me. Plus, with performance, I feel like I was going to get into trouble with that. The long range is plenty fast. Don't let people tell you otherwise. This car will pretty much outperform most cars on the road to get today anyways. I also upgraded a couple upgrades. I did the induction or 20-inch induction wheels. I also did the blue paint, and I decided to have the tow package added on build option. I just didn't feel comfortable with having that option installed aftermarket and trying to track down the harness and find someone to install it. For me, it's just convenient. So I think the next thing I want to talk about is the anxiety. And what I mean by that is the anxiety of waiting for the car to come in, knowing and watching all the YouTube videos of other owners of the cars and their experiences and what to look out for, knowing that Tesla has build quality issues, and there's no beating around the bush. They do. And for a $53,000 car, you don't really expect there to be issues, or at least there shouldn't be. I can't remember the last time I bought a vehicle, and I buy a lot of vehicles. Like in the last year, or actually last probably 2 years, I've had probably 5 or 6 different vehicles. Everything, I can just quickly name them. A 2016 Chevrolet High Country, a Hyundai Ioniq, a Chevrolet Volt, a Chrysler Pacifica hybrid minivan, plus all the other little cars that I've had as either winter rats or just something just to keep me entertained while I'm driving. I can't tell you that with any one of those vehicles, and I buy a lot of new vehicles, that I've ever had any thought or even my own, from my own research of issues to look out for with a brand new vehicle. For example, the Chevrolet Volt, when I picked that up, I was very excited to get that car. I never had to think about, well, let me go through this car with a fine-tooth comb to address or to look for issues that I knew were issues with the vehicle. Same thing goes with a Chrysler or any other vehicle from what I call the big three automakers. never really had to worry about that. But with Tesla, unless you've been living under a rock or just bought one without watching any YouTube videos, there's definitely that anxiety. And as it got closer to the actual pickup date, that anxiety started to heighten quite a bit. And just a couple things to go from, you know, the issues I've had with my car. I've had issues, like I said, still have issues with the driver rear passenger door. That is completely out of line. I'm looking at it through the rear view mirror now, and you can definitely see where the closer part that's towards my back is sticking out, and it's almost tilted. You know, what else do I have? I had some sticker blemishes, or the residue from when they're peeling off the protective film still on the vehicle, and those are things that I pointed out to the rep. The rear seats do not fold down when you press the two buttons in the hatch. They will fold down if I push them, but they do not go down on their own. And these are things I've definitely made aware of during the delivery. And one other thing that I did not see in the delivery was on the hood, or the front, just to the left of the logo, there's a small little dent. And it's not something you could see, but about a day later, when the sun was setting, light was hitting it at a different angle, and I noticed it. And sure enough, you put a light up to it, and it's there. It's very subtle, but it's there. You know, but other than that, I think I've been considering myself fairly lucky. There have been no other issues with the car. The interior is perfect. No marks, no scratches, no grease stains. Whoever went through the car for inspection definitely went through it to make sure that I didn't get a car with any major issues, I should say. You know, it is, like I said, and as far as the financing, I don't know how many people have questions on that stuff, and feel free to make comments. But the financing process was ridiculously easy. I didn't have to, you know, submit my credit to 20 different lenders to, you know, figure out the best rate. I got financed directly through Tesla. The rate was at the lowest rate that they offered. And like I said, I have decent credit, not perfect, but not terrible, so kind of above average, I would say. And the financing was really easy. When I went to pick up the car, about a day before, they called me to have me e-sign paperwork, so all that stuff was pre-done ahead of time, and then all I had to do was focus on the actual pickup of the vehicle. And let me tell you, like, I have never picked up a vehicle where I had a checklist of 4 different pages to go through to make sure the car was complete and everything was functioning and working. Would I do this experience over? Probably, but hopefully by the time I get another Tesla or whatever electric vehicle that comes out, those manufacturers understand that, you know, there's a point where a consumer is willing to accept defects in the car, and there's a point where they're not. And I've seen some people on the forums and on the Facebook groups where they have flat out rejected dealerships, or flat out rejected deliveries of the vehicle. You know, I don't hear about that much from any of the major manufacturers of vehicles other than Tesla. So hopefully Tesla's listening and their quality control gets better. As far as owning the vehicle, for just over a week now, it's been a great experience. The car works well. I have a wall charger at home, and I can charge at about 41 to 44 miles per hour with a wall 3 connector. So as far as the anxiety or the range anxiety that I had initially had prior to pickup, that's pretty much all gone away. The only thing I ever think about is, well, what if I lose power at the house? Unfortunately, I'm not in an area that has the ability to have a wall charger or solar panels installed on the house. Otherwise, I probably would consider that as an option. So I'm kind of relying strictly on National Grid. I'm relying on consistency of having power, and you know, that definitely weighs on you a little bit. You know, in our area there is one supercharger, not too far from where I live, but still only one supercharger. So up in the Northeast and Central New York, Syracuse, New York, where I live, there's only one. You know, there are other superchargers along the thruway, but you know, they're the closest other one to me is about 40 minutes away. There are some destination chargers that I could probably charge at if I needed to at some of the hotels, but again, it's just all part of the Tesla experience, I guess. Like I said, overall, it's been a pretty good experience. I think some of my gripes, though, is with the infotainment part of it. While they do have built-in, you know, audio options, I don't think the apps are very well thought out. Spotify and Intune, or TuneIn rather, they don't work very well, or at least they take quite a bit to figure out. And this is coming from someone that has an IT tech background. I pride myself on being able to figure this stuff out and figuring it out fairly easily, but I'll tell you, it is not very straightforward at all. So the next coming weeks, I'm going to definitely try to spend some time trying to figure out and learn it, but it's not very intuitive. And some of the things that I think are grossly missing, for example, you know, YouTube Music, iTunes, you know, the lack of integration with Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. And I get it, you know, it's their own system, and how would you kind of have it on the screen here? But again, those are some things that I had to decide if I could live without, and you know, I ultimately made the decision that I could live without. And the other thing that really bugs me is the lack of a Sirius XM radio app. And I know some people are going to say, well, you know, the sound quality sucks, the fidelity sucks, you know, why would you sign up for that stuff? Well, to be honest, I like listening to you know, the content that is on Sirius XM. They have a ton of radio stations, they have a ton of talk radio, and that stuff, even on the TuneIn stuff, is pretty hard to duplicate, because all TuneIn does is stream from a lot of terrestrial radio stations, and that's about it. You know, there are some other, you can do podcasts, you can do you know, let's see, you can do podcasts, you can but there is a pay element to it. So I don't know, like I said, for me, not having Sirius XM, and I know Tesla has the ability to do it, they built it for the Model S and the Model X, why not just put it into the Model 3? Let us stream it over the internet. And again, going back to the people that say, well, the fidelity is not great, it sucks, it sounds like compressed. Well, guess what? Anytime you stream from your phone through Bluetooth, it's going to be through compressed audio. And the audio quality is always going to have some loss to it, unless you're directly plugging in through USB. But even then, there's still some compression and there's some, you know, fidelity loss. But to be honest, I don't hear the difference. It sounds great for what I listen to, and for the time being, I'm just living with either the TuneIn Spotify app or streaming XM through my phone. But for me, it's just convenience. I know these are little things, but they ultimately kind of go a long way to making the infotainment part of the ride more enjoyable. And that's pretty much it. I am going to kind of leave this video with a small montage of me picking up the vehicle and the experience on that day. I picked up my vehicle in Mount Kisco in Westchester, or near Westchester, New York. It was a really good experience. You know, and like I said, there was definitely a lot of anxiety, a lot of excitement. My fiance probably was sick of me talking about the Tesla for the last 3 or 4 weeks, even prior to delivery, especially on the day of delivery. And even after I pick up the car, I still talk about the Tesla quite a bit. So again, I'm going to leave you with a montage. I'm going to start posting some more of these videos on my thoughts, the modifications, the things I've done, and the things to look out for with the vehicle. And I know there are a ton of other YouTubers that are doing the same thing, but I think we all have our little differences of opinion and our differences of experience that kind of you know, where we're all kind of saying the same things and saying what to look out for. So without further ado, here's the montage. What day is today?
Labor Day.
What day is today?
Tesla Day!
Take exit 37, then turn left onto Kisco Avenue.